Hi everybody, I'm Mercedes and welcome back to my channel. So I am back like I said I would be, and I'm doing a update on my braces. So I'm going to talk about what it was like for my first week in braces and kind of go into a little bit of do's and don'ts for anyone who has not had braces before, just so you can know what to expect. So I did write down a few notes for myself so I can make sure to stay on track. The first thing that I want to talk about is the pain, or if there is any pain associated with braces. So for my personal experience, and I feel like this is going to be different for everyone, really just depending on your pain tolerance. I have tattoos, piercings, so my pain tolerance may be a little bit different than someone else's. But just in general, like I said in my first video when I first got my braces on, there was really no pain associated with the actual process of getting your braces on. Now, I was told that I would experience some level of discomfort or pain the very next day. So I can say that the second day with my braces, it was a bit, I wouldn't use the word painful, but it was kind of uncomfortable. And I did take Advil that morning simply because I was going to work and I didn't know what to expect throughout the day. So I did take Advil that morning. I did have somewhat of a headache that eventually resolved like throughout the day. And just general during the day, it wasn't so bad. It was discomfort. It didn't really hurt to talk, at least, but it just wasn't, you didn't feel like yourself. You didn't feel 100%. So in that way, I guess I can say maybe that may be considered painful to some people, and to other people it just may be just a little bit discomfort, a little irritating. But just in general, I did take over-the-counter medication just to make sure that I would be okay for my work day. So that was pretty much how the second day went. Now, I can say that that discomfort did get better over time. So every day it got better. The second day I didn't need to take Advil or anything like that. I was pretty much cool, just getting used to having braces in my mouth and talking with braces. And of course the discomfort level decreased every day. One of the things that I will say that was difficult somewhat to do was to really just get used to speaking with braces. Even now, it is somewhat difficult to say certain words. It's like you have to open up your mouth a little bit more. You have to articulate your words better, simply because the way that you're talking, it's just going to be different. And I will say that the first few days with your braces on, it may hurt a little just to say certain words like full out, especially depending on like what word it is and if you have to like really like put your teeth together to say certain words. So clearly anything with a T probably will be a little bit harder to pronunciate those words, especially the first couple of days, because your teeth do feel like there's like a little bit of pressure on your teeth. So saying things like teeth will be harder to do just in general. But that's just kind of like the basic overview of the first week as far as pain is concerned and talking in general. Now let's get into the do's and don'ts. So the number one don't that I will say will definitely help you is to make sure that you're not eating solid food. Now, when you're at the orthodontist, after you get your braces on, they're going to tell you right away, like, do not eat anything hard, like only eat soft foods for the first 3 days. Like my orthodontist really stressed that. He was literally like, the last thing he said to me was, make sure you're not eating anything hard the first 3 days, like promise me that. And I was like, okay, yeah, that'll be totally doable. I will say that that was probably the hardest part about my braces. I eat a lot. Like, I'm a girl, I like to eat. So yeah, it was really hard for me to only think about like soft foods to eat. So really that was only like soup, mashed potatoes, Jello, applesauce, like really just not a lot of things that when you think of like having something good to eat, those aren't the things that you're necessarily thinking about. So that was really hard for me. But do not try to eat like something that you have to really chew on. No solid foods, like it's a bad idea. I was going over like this sheet of the foods that they suggested that you could eat, and they did talk about like noodles, so like macaroni and things like that. So I was like, oh, okay, so maybe I can get some mac and cheese or something. That was a mistake. So the first 1 to 3 days, even eating something as soft as like macaroni, it wasn't doable. Like I could actually eat it, but it made me have a headache afterwards, just because of the fact that I was like chewing down on something. Yeah, it wasn't a good feeling. So I would say if you want to avoid having a headache after you eat something, don't do it. If you're okay with a little bit of discomfort just because you're really hungry, then hey, go ahead and do it. But I would suggest not to. For me, it took maybe like 7 days to really feel comfortable with like eating solid foods. And I was really nervous about it because, you know, they talked about brackets breaking off and different things happening if you're eating things that are like really hard to eat. So yeah, I would just say stay away from solid foods, candy, definitely anything that you really have to chew on just for those first couple of days, because it would really save you a lot of like the discomfort that you may feel. Another thing that I would say for sure is don't drink things that will sting your teeth. So it's really different when you have braces, because it really, all of your food and your drink seems to just like build up at the top of your gum line and just around your brackets. So normally when you're eating and drinking things, that doesn't happen, or maybe you may not notice it as much. But with braces, it really, like, you'll really notice that buildup. So really just try to stay away from drinks and even food items that has like a sauce or a dye in it that is really prone to like stains. So that's something I could say for sure to stay away from. And another thing, now this may be different for everybody, because I've seen people using whitening toothpaste with their braces. I was specifically told by my orthodontist not to use any whitening toothpaste, and that's just to simply avoid having your teeth that are exposed wider than the teeth that are under the brackets. Now, this may or may not be true for everyone. I personally went out and bought toothpaste without whitening, because pretty much all the toothpaste that I had in my house had whitening in it. So it was really hard for me, even just going into the grocery store and looking for toothpaste that didn't have whitening in it, because pretty much now all the toothpaste have whitening in it. So really pay attention to that when you're shopping for toothpaste. Just try to get something without whitening. If you are going to use whitening toothpaste, I would definitely suggest not to use it every single day. If you are feeling like your teeth aren't as white as they used to be, then maybe you can go ahead and use the whitening toothpaste. But yeah, I was specifically told to stay away from it. So I'm just pretty much trying to follow all of the directions, because I do not want to have any issues like that when I do take my braces off. Now, I will plan to get my teeth whitened after all of my braces come off. So I would say if you are worried about the color of your teeth, just try to think of the long run and what you can do once your braces are removed so that all of your teeth can be the same color. Now, the do's. So of course, the number one do is do eat soft foods for at least the first 3 days. So again, trying to stay away from hard foods. It's going to be difficult, I know, especially if you like to eat a lot like myself. I honestly felt like I was starving for those 3 days. But again, that's all psychological, because clearly I wasn't starving. I was eating things. I definitely ate a lot of mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, soup. Yeah, that was pretty much what my diet consisted of. I did eat, like, for snacks, maybe like pudding, applesauce, Jello. Yeah, but Trust me, you are gonna be a little bit hungry for the first couple of days, especially if you typically eat a lot. One of the things that you should definitely do is brush your teeth after every meal. Please, please, please. That's really, really important because number one, you're gonna have a lot of gunk stuck in the bracket. It's the most annoying thing ever, and it's just really disgusting to think about and to get used to. Like every time that you eat something, you have like gunk stuck in your teeth. And just thinking about like staining your teeth and getting food particles like stuck in your gums. You really just want to make sure that you're avoiding that at all costs so that you are keeping your teeth healthy. So really, really just brush your teeth after every meal. In general, honestly, you're supposed to do that anyway, even without braces. But when you have braces, you definitely want to make sure that you're brushing after every meal. Yeah. Another thing you want to do along with brushing is flossing daily. It's really important to floss daily, again, to get any food particles that might be stuck in your gums, because everything tends to build up like on the top of your brackets. So of course, things are going to build up within your gum line as well. So you definitely want to make sure that you are flossing every day. Yeah, very important. The next thing that you should do is make sure that you're using the wax that every office is probably going to give you, like a little toolkit that has different things in there to help you with your braces. One of the things is the wax that you can put on your brackets if they are irritating your gums. You might want to buy extra if you feel like it's going to be problematic for you. I would say the first week there were definitely some sore spots that occurred really often. So just making sure that you're using that wax so that you're not getting all these cuts and scrapes along the gum line. Eventually that will resolve, but definitely for the first week, you want to make sure that you're using that wax because everything is pretty tender and everything is like new. So just to decrease the level of discomfort that you're experiencing, make sure that you use that wax. The last thing that you want to make sure you do, and this was something that a good friend of mine said to me when she found out that I had recently got braces, and this is something that I noticed on my own, but she was like, definitely make sure that you keep some chapstick around. Yeah, for whatever reason, when you first get those braces on, your lips are just chapped all the time. I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe because it's like your mouth is open more than usual, like because it's really hard to kind of like close your mouth. I don't know what it is, but my lips have been chapped since day one. So I always make sure to keep some Blistex, Carmex, whatever it is that you like to use, just make sure you keep that around, keep it handy. I have chapstick in my car, in my purse, like everywhere, just so I can make sure that I'm covered at all times, especially because it's still winter and your lips are going to be chapped probably anyway, but with braces, for whatever reason, they're just more chapped than usual. So do keep some chapstick around. Also, it's a good thing to just keep water around. Along with the dry lips, you might have dry mouth for whatever reason. So yeah, keeping water around as well is helpful. So overall, I think that those are the pretty big do's and don'ts for that first week that you have your braces in. And yeah, so if you guys have any additional questions about what it's like to have braces during that first week, definitely leave comments in the comment box below. And yeah, that's all I have for an update for this video. Stay tuned because I will be coming by with more updates as the time passes. My next video, I will actually be showing you guys a lot of the things that I use on an everyday basis for my braces. So stay tuned for that video. Really helpful tools and tricks for some things that you might want to purchase if you are thinking about getting braces. But yeah, that's all of the update I have in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and definitely come back for my next braces video. All right, thank you guys for watching. Bye.